Hello and welcome back to Project Titan, the Redacted files development. In this devlog I'll be talking about some things I thought I needed to talk about and at least show off to you guys all the hard work that we've been putting into the game. This will be a two-part video because I've got a lot to talk about and I feel I should break this up so the video isn't super bloated. First, we'll be talking about weapons and ammo in the game. You get a pistol, magnum, shotgun, grenade launcher, and a stun baton. Typical Resident Evil stuff. As Trevor is an experienced Ragnarok agent, he carries with him a custom-made hand cannon magnum called the Striker Venator Infinity Limit Breaker, inspired by the pistol used in Time Crisis 1, Robocop's pistol, and Limit Breaks from Final Fantasy. During his mercenary days, when he was 16, the world was incredibly dystopian. He was one of many child soldiers fighting wars for profit, when war was the only way for a country to sustain itself. However, he was able to leave that life and become a solo mercenary to survive. During his life, his magnum has been an incredibly useful weapon that kept him alive when doing missions. He's grown so used to it that he trusts his magnum over most people in his life. Now for the gun nuts, his magnum used to chamber .50 Action Express. However, he found it was not powerful enough to deal with the things he needed to destroy. So, with the help of ragtag R&D, he created a hyper-compression, caseless .500 nitro expression ammunition that only his magnum uses. Now onto the pistol. You find this on some unfortunate soul, and of course, it is your choice whether you wish to take it or not. In universe, this pistol is a standard issue firearm a civilian might use, called the 22A Spectre, which over the course of its life has so many variants, no two versions are the same. This particular pistol is the 9mm variant, which, in Trevor's time, is incredibly cheap. Design-wise, I did not have a particular style in mind. Heck, this isn't even the only pistol I've made for the world of Project Titan, but I felt this is the one that thematically makes sense, as it's commonly used, which for game design is good, as that means I don't have to make as much. Eventually, you will find a shotgun. For the demo, I'm debating just putting it in the item box or putting it randomly in the level, as the demo only reflects progress and the potential of the game, not the final design. Anyway, the Viper Defender revolver shotgun is a typical shotgun that fires .410 buck with a capacity of 6 shells per cylinder, so like 12 shots, which is pretty high, but if you are going against drones, potential super soldiers, and possibly more things that are physically strong, 12 shots might not be enough. To be honest, I don't think people would be pleased if the game did not have a boomstick, and I really wanted the design to be something cool, so I used the design of a real revolver shotgun but made it more sci-fi. As for the game, it's what's classed as an antique shotgun that is respected for being really strong versus its contemporaries. Unfortunately, at the time of this devlog, we do not have the grenade launcher properly integrated yet, but we do have the items done, so you can see the gun in the inventory and its ammo, and of course the concept art 3D model. I was inspired by Resident Evil 3's Mine Thrower, as I feel that design is very underrated. However, I also drew inspiration elsewhere. I love the 90s and I love sci-fi, specifically like the aliens and other stuff similar to that. So something like the Sega Saturn is really cool for me, despite its unfortunate history. So I took design choices by Sega from Virtua Cop and the Saturn's name, and incorporated it into a grenade launcher. Even the in-universe company who made this is a small nod to Sega, as the company is called Sages Unlimited. Hopefully someone finds that pretty neat. And for the stun baton, this weapon is essentially a replacement knife from Resident Evil, and I wanted a weapon that I could either do a load of retextures for, or do slight variations to, as it's supposed to be a common weapon. Since gunblades are a thing in this universe, this is similar but more of a combination of a police baton and a stun gun. However, Trevor's model is quite old and has lost its taser settings over time, as he doesn't use it much due to preferring his own custom-made gunblade. Speaking of the gunblade, unfortunately due to the scope of the game, I could not add it as gameplay, as it would turn the game into a Devil May Cry clone. That's a lot more complicated trying to figure that out. And finally for this devlog, the reloading tool. Who doesn't love a bit of crafting in video games? Worked wonders for Minecraft, and Resident Evil 3 had its own crafting system for ammo, which I felt I very much needed. But now the question was, how do I add this without breaking the design language established by prior Resident Evil? People like collecting ammo, and a critique of the original Resident Evil 3 was the lack of ammo drops in general, as the game relied heavily on crafting ammo, which isn't a bad thing, but broke the player's relationship between exploring for unique ammo and working with the ammo placement, aka working with what you got, versus finding gunpowder to craft whatever you want. This is one of the main reasons why the grenade launcher is the best weapon, by the way. To better explain this, I need to talk about Trevor's Magnum again. It's custom made. Whilst it's a gun based on an in-universe Magnum, it's a custom made Magnum that he made himself. This means that ammunition is custom made by him for every mission or assignment needed. This also means that he has experience crafting ammo, and it would make sense for him to have a reloading tool on his person. So, he'll create Magnum ammo using gunpowder instead of ammo for other weapons. This is purposeful, as Magnum drops will be deliberately incredibly rare, and gunpowder could be used as rewards for exploring areas and solving optional puzzles, which makes the Magnum more valuable. This keeps the relationship between the player and the environment intact, meaning the player has to explore and pay attention to their surroundings, whilst giving the game more options to get ammo and use the really cool crafting system. overall, this feels like not a lot of work has been done. It's taken a long time to get this far, and it's very cool seeing all of these elements come together to create something like classic Resident Evil, but hopefully original enough that it looks cool. If you like this, you can support me on my Ko-fi, or Coffee, however you say that. Be prepared for a part 2 to all of this, where I go through my design ethos for more gameplay features and showcase the brand new healing system.